Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Hey, everyone. There were some major revelations in this coup investigation into Donald Trump. This all hit yesterday, late afternoon and the evening, and then more this morning. So first of all, you may have already heard Donald Trump is now said to be under investigation by the Department of Justice. We now know this to be a fact because of the questions that are being asked and the topics that are being discussed in the grand jury. It's also evident based on the specific witnesses that they're calling before the grand jury. So, for example, 2 of Mike Pence's top aides appeared before the grand jury. Pence's chief of staff, Mark Short, and then his VP counsel, Greg Jacob. Both of those men took part in that infamous January 4th meeting in which Trump flipped out on Pence. And they were each questioned about the fake elector scheme and conversations that they had with Trump, as well as what was discussed with any of Trump's attorneys and then his other allies. In fact, journalists are reporting that the witnesses were questioned by the grand jury for hours about how Trump pressured Mike Pence to help him overturn the election. And they were specifically asked about Trump's involvement in the fake elector scheme. And then another thing we learned yesterday was that the DOJ received some phone records for some of Trump's officials and his aides in April. So they've had these phone records for months. Among the records that they received are Trump's final chief of staff, Mark Meadows. So what I'm wondering is, did the DOJ find something of significance in Meadows' phone records? And maybe that's why they declined to indict him for refusing to meet with the January 6th committee? Was maybe the DOJ concerned about burning a cooperating witness? I mean, maybe he is cooperating and we just don't know. Were they worried that whatever they found might be leaked by the committee before they could follow up and maybe pull related threads? We'll find out eventually, hopefully. In the meantime, we've also now just discovered that the DOJ has been issuing grand jury subpoenas to numerous state lawmakers and Republican officials. And many of the people who were issued these subpoenas are people who actually took part in that fake elector scheme. And the New York Times reviewed some of those subpoenas, which were really revealing. They showed that the DOJ is focused on Trump attorneys who developed that fraudulent elector scheme. So that means John Eastman, Rudy Giuliani, people like that. Another huge piece of news that just broke this morning is that Cassidy Hutchinson is cooperating with the Department of Justice. So Hutchinson, as you guys likely know, she was an advisor to Meadows. She sat right outside of Mark Meadows' office. She was also a special assistant to Trump himself. And her testimony arguably helped to break the dam in the Select Committee's investigation. And she personally witnessed a great deal of the potential crimes that were committed. In fact, her testimony was so earth-shattering that she's reportedly now in hiding because of death threats coming from Trump supporters. As for how he's taking all of this news, as you would expect, from a sociopathic adult-sized toddler like Trump, he went on his sad little social media network to whine about how unfair it all is. And he just kept pushing his lie about the election. So if I was Eastman and Giuliani or Meadows, Jeffrey Clark, any of these fringe characters who got roped into this, and especially the attorneys, I'd be running to the DOJ. I'd be telling them everything I know and I would throw Trump under his own train, because you just know that they're all being floated as the scapegoats right now. I would bet money that Trump and his vile offspring are having daily conversations about how to deflect and who to blame, who to throw under the Trump train, which one of his allies is going to get put in the barrel. Mark my words, at some point, Trump is going to use the excuse that, well, I'm not an attorney. How would I know what's legal and what's not? I was relying on these attorneys to advise me about what to do. They're the experts. You watch. And he just might get away with it. He might, because remember, according to everybody who's ever worked with him, he never puts anything in writing. So he lets his minions take the fall. And he gets away with it because he gives the orders, or he floats an idea and then they run with it. So their fingerprints are on everything, right? They're left holding the murder weapon, and the guy who hired them to do the hit gets to go play golf forever down in Margaritaville, just like the January 6th defendants. He's enjoying his life. They're locked up. They're looking forward to, life as a convict. Anyway, guys, I will let you know when and if I hear more. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.